Happy New Year! 2021 is past us, and we successfully put out 4 shorts in its entirety. Our most recent one tells a ghost story like one we've never told before, and getting it to a solidified point was quite the challenge behind closed doors. After all, we got it done, so I will be taking you through how we made our short film, Ornate. Conceptualizing this film was one of the more enjoyable stages since I wanted to bring a new challenge upon us, so I threw all these crazy ideas into one script, like a frame consuming a whole body and a frame being a portal to another dimension. Seeing all of these ideas come to fruition in the final product was extremely satisfying, and I'm glad we put ourselves to this challenge. Concept art and storyboards are super important in my workflow, and most of the final shots stayed pretty true to the original artwork I drew up, which is always nice to see. The black and white world was such a key part of the film, but I still needed to keep an equal balance between that and colored imagery, so making this film take place in daytime worked best. The colors of the natural sunlit house mixed with the dark monochromatic black and white dimension contrasted very well together and had a very special effect that turned out way better than if we were to shoot at nighttime. The visual effects were a uniquely challenging and important part of this project as well, and there are a substantial amount of shots. The easiest of all were the color effects, which were hand-tracked desaturated masks that would cover the area around the frame every time we see it, and there were quite a few shots like this, so it was the same process over and over, all ranging in different difficulties for ones that needed to be precisely animated, this one in particular. Even for tiny shots like this, and this one, where we see the frame for a tiny second, I still wanted to make sure that the black and white is there and we don't miss a beat there. Most importantly with the black and white worlds were the transition shots from normal worlds to what is being seen through the frame. For all of these, we had 2 shots, 1 clean plate, and 1 plate of all the acting. I was able to figure out a really efficient workflow for this by using many different animated masks in After Effects, and I was really able to sell the effect that this frame reveals the unseen when looked through. The hands holding the frame were a practical element that we shot over a green screen. Conveniently, I had access to a large green screen wall, and it ended up working perfectly for this. Frank and I each got on a side of the frame and held it up, and each put one arm through the sleeves of a single shirt, which clearly was not the most efficient way to do this, since you could see it keeps on pulling up, but this day was just one big problem that we had to solve on the spot. In After Effects, I keyed out the green by using multiple different masks, since the green was still different colors in certain areas, and I wanted to get the best key possible. And also adding individual light wraps, depending on the background, really helps sell the effect that the hands are in the correct environment. I then would use this for every POV shot we had, and added some slanting here and there to change each one up a bit. Removing the face of the lady were probably the most challenging effect shots. When shooting, we had her tightly close her eyes and suck in her lips to have a practical base for the VFX to work from. I definitely do not recommend walking with eyes closed like this on a balcony like we did, but we made sure she was safe, and luckily this balcony isn't known for anything too crazy. I removed the facial features in Photoshop and then imported them back into After Effects. I had 2 main tracks, left and right side of her face, and I used each nostril as a tracker, and it worked for the most part, but there was still a handful of hand tracking that was necessary for shots like this, where there's just too much movement for a point tracker to figure out without actual points. One of my favorite shots is where the photo starts to form itself. The photo is completely digital, and I animated in very complex masks to show the growing of the photo as if it were developing like Polaroids do. There's a bunch more VFX shots, but it's mainly similar processes repeated, so I don't want to repeat too many of the same things, but here are a few shots that I ended up not using in the final cut. Creating the sound is always enjoyable, and I had access to a real Foley room for footsteps and various other sounds. It comes as no surprise that the score was once again done by Frank. The direction Frank went this time was much more melancholy and orchestral-led, and the strings really sound beautiful. That's all we got for this one. Happy New Year to everyone. We are so very excited to continue making new horror shorts this year and to continue terrifying you guys. Here's to a safe and healthy New Year to everyone. See you guys in the next one.